On today's World Insight, we speak to Chinese students studying in the U.S. and the U.K. Have they been able to dispel biases against China on campus? And they're the rising stars of Macau. We get up close and personal with Mechanese pop group MFM. And here's our host, Yan Wei.
Hello and welcome to World Insight. I'm Tian Wei. In today's program, we focus on the youth making a difference. First, I speak to 6 Chinese students studying in America. In the current climate of tension between China and the U.S., how have these students assumed the role of cultural ambassadors? Will young people solidify the bilateral ties that have eluded their governments? Take a look. And I'm joined by, on my right side, Roger, Sean, Jesse. Meanwhile, on my left side, we have Kathy, Tony, and Felix. What a pleasure to see you. So maybe you help us to understand who you are and where you're coming from. Roger?
So my name is Roger, just graduated from Cornell University. Before I graduated, I was majoring in hotel administration, minoring in real estate.
And now?
Now I just graduated, trying to figure out my career path and all that.
Okay. What about you, Sean?
All right. Hi, my name is Sean, and I'm currently a third-year undergrad doing engineering science at Oxford in the UK.
And?
Hello, my name is Jesse. I'm from Cornell. I just graduated last summer, and right now working in China with Tony for a fintech startup.
And what about for you, Kathy?
Hi, my name is Kathy. I'm a junior at Brandeis University. I'm the co-president of our student association, majoring applied math and econ.
Wonderful. And Tony?
Hello, I'm Tony, currently taking a gap year from Harvard Business School. And my friends Jesse and I returned back to China 3 years ago, starting a fintech company.
And last but not least, Felix.
Hi, my name is Felix, and I'm taking a master at Columbia University right now, the first year. And I'm the co-founder and the president of the Chinese Overseas Student Conference.
As China rises, there seems to be so many different kinds of understanding about China. I'm sure whether you are studying in your university or already graduating, now trying to look for another stage of your career, would have different access to these very different mixed understanding. Tell me about what you think about them. You want to go first, Jesse?
Yes, because I stayed in Cornell for 4 years. You know, Cornell is a very interesting place. It's so far away from major cities in the U.S. It's like a school in countryside, in middle of nowhere. But you know, in Beijing, it's totally different. It's like metropolitan. We got the share bike, we got WeChat Pay, we got Alipay, we got all of these application of the most advanced technology in China. That's so different. It takes me a while to adopt the new life in China, actually, yeah.
But what do you make of the various ways how people portray China?
You know, in the classroom of U.S., China is always a hot topic among professors and students. So we'll discuss a lot about China. The first one is the business world of China. So they are very interested in what happens in China. You know, Alibaba, Baidu, Tencent, TikTok. We have all of these new companies in China. They are creating new business model. So Americans are starting to learn from China to do business, to run technology company. I think that's one interesting point. And the second one is ourselves, Chinese students. We start to recognize us as a representative, ambassador of China, because we are representing the Chinese culture. We are the way others will perceive China. So I think we have the responsibility to show the core value, to show the virtues of Chinese. We're hosting different events representing Chinese culture, like the Chinese New Year Gala, Mid-Autumn Gala, all of these events showing them how Chinese celebrate their family, how Chinese unite together.
Yeah. Kathy, do you think you have that such huge amount of responsibilities, or just be a student, you know, be the natural you?
When in class, I feel like there are like some bias toward Chinese students.
Really?
That Chinese students are a little nerdy, or we only focus on studying. But like, unlike Jessie said, I didn't put so much responsibility on myself.
When people say, oh, you Chinese students only know how to study, right? You
Yeah.
Chinese students are always nerdy. You got a high score, but you know, you're not fun. What would you say?
It's just a world that's so diverse and has so many kinds of people. You can't really define a race. You can't define a country only by only little portion of people. You have to look at the world with like different values.
What do you think, Roger?
Well, I mean, the nerdiness aspect of it definitely exists, right? So it's like, oh, you're good at math. There are certain stereotypes that puts upon Asian in general and Chinese in specific.
But there's nothing wrong with good at math, right?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with good at math. And then if I were to be asked the questions like, oh, you guys are supposed to be good at math and you're Asian, I was like, come to one of our parties and I'll show you what's up, right? So it's just, yeah, I mean, there's multi-dimensional approach to how to look at a person, right? And then, like Jessie said, we are the way that other people learn about us, and we are the one that go out there and talk about China, and the way that we perceive it in this modern world. So it is absolutely our responsibility to do so, and then I feel absolutely honored to be put upon this responsibility, this onus on my shoulder. And at the same time, I'm just trying to show a dynamic side of Chinese as students, international students.
You know, Shang, when people talk about China these days, they say, oh, you're a fast-growing country, but you're taking away our jobs. Or you're taking all the best jobs because your scores are high in school. But you know, we're not bad either. We also want part of that. Why are you taking our opportunities away? When you hear questions like this, I just wonder, how would you respond to that?
First, I would tell them that probably the information they receive is problematic. You know, they're probably from some biased sources. Because from my perspective, I feel, and I'm going to tell them the truth that, you know, instead of taking their jobs, you know, instead of making their lives worse, we the Chinese, we're actually making their lives better. You know, we produce a lot of cheap goods that sort of enable them to enjoy a better life. And then the next thing I'm going to tell them is, I mean, as human race, we should embrace progress together instead of each person just taking benefits for his or her own.
But what do you think, Tony?
I can have like a quite opposite view on this question. So we are taking a lot of jobs away from like the countries like the United States, like, because if you think in this way, the world going to be more flat in the future, and a lot of basic work going to be replaced by the cheap labors. And in the past 2 decades, in the history, we always can get the cost much cheaper by using different strategies. On the first decade, we can lower the cost by using cheap labors. And on second decade, we can lower the cost by using more big data, all the fancy systems right now we have. And if you take a look on the employees we have, on the artificial intelligence industry, 2 countries has the most 2 top talents are United States and China. So we're not only powered by the cheap labors, but nowadays we also actually benefit from the top tier talents. So my point is the world going to be more competitive on the labor market, and we are pretty much taking away a lot of jobs.
Interesting. Felix?
In my opinion, I think that's how the world running the business. So if we can have the ability to get a job, that's what we can do.
It's about competition.
Yeah. If
whoever
other
is
people
better,
can't,
no matter where you're from.
Yeah. If you can't, you need to change. You need to do something more. So no matter which country you're from. So.
Actually, I have an add-on on this question. We are actually taking their jobs, but I think Chinese are sacrificing much more than American in their country, actually, because it's very difficult for Chinese students, especially Asian male, to get a good job in America right now. For example, if you are seeking for a job in investment banking or consulting, Asian male, especially for Chinese, they are the least favored group, I think.
Where did your number come from?
All of us were working on recruiting session. This is like a data everybody know in US. It is so difficult for us to get in top tier IBD or consulting company. Much more difficult than local American. And also very difficult for us to get in top graduate school, because there are probably only 2 spots open for Chinese. And actually, we're not competing with American, we're competing with each other within the Chinese community, actually, or competing with Korean, Japanese, or Indian. And also, the policy is changing right now. We are being less favored, I have to say.
Is it fair?
It's not fair, but China is growing better and better. So staying in US is not absolutely the top choice for us right now. You know, probably 2 or 3 decades ago, when we were just starting the open and reform policy in China, most of the overseas students, like us, their first choice is staying in US, staying in UK. That's their goal to study abroad. But right now, it's totally different. My primary goal when I entered Cornell is back to China.
Over the past few minutes, it seems that you're trying to tell me how to cope with some of the harsh realities and tell me what those harsh realities are. But how can we change from being self-defensive to proactive, to let others understand us and we do the same? And maybe we can do one step further, even though it is very challenging. I don't know, so I want to knock on your door and ask your opinions. Tony.
Okay, so the word for self-defensive, I found that's quite interesting, since like I don't think they're really like self-defensive like right now. We're more like opened in the past 2 decades, I think. More students coming to study abroad, and we're not like, we don't like live there, not because we think like living there is bad, but like we do think the opportunity like for like living there. Like,
you go where the opportunities are.
Exactly. So
be a global citizen, as you said.
Yeah.
I'm a communicator. I see my job as a communicator. So I've seen over the past 2 years or 3 or so, the quote-unquote impressions others have about China have been having this pendulum change from the wow factor. Wow, China's big. Wow, China's growing fast. Wow, China's creating all of this. Wow, China's a miracle. To the fear factor. Oh, they are bad. They're taking away our jobs. They are going to be the future threatening us. They are changing all the rules. They are trying to define the world. You know, this pendulum, when you have such a pendulum change, of course it's not a reality. We all know that. But how should we understand this pendulum change from wow to fear? Kathy, may I throw that difficult question to you first?
Oh, gosh.
The one who focuses on the studies.
So I feel like when they have like a wow opinion of China, it's definitely because we are indeed growing, and we are sending more students abroad to learn about their academy. When it turns to fear, because they used to be like the leader of the world, and they wanted to sort of have like at least above 50% of the power of the world. So when they see a very strong competitor in the world, so they are sort of, it's actually normal that they feel like afraid. Like it's really just an example that if you do well in a math class as an Asian student, you're actually lowering the curve of the exams and the final grade. So it's normal that like some local students, they are doing poorly relatively than Asians. They are a little bit afraid of us being in the same classroom with them. Yeah, so I think it's pretty just like a natural thing.
It's a natural thing.
Yeah.
Can you accept that? Or would you feel angry about that, or
I mean,
indifferent?
Yeah, I'm proud to have them be afraid.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Should we try to communicate with them, Felix?
The reason I think the foreign people like wow to China is because probably they don't understand, they don't know how hard Chinese people working and study. After they know, probably the wow will be louder. So I think like when I travel and working in the other countries, especially in Europe, probably Chinese use a lot of time more than the Europe people do. So that's why the country can development so fast. So.
But you know, people would also argue that, you know, without globalization, without other markets open up to the Chinese goods, without other opportunities open up to the Chinese who are like you, who want to seek opportunities globally, you will not have the future or the realities that you have right now. So China should be grateful, on the other hand. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, I think so. If we still keep going on this way, and other country or other people still stay there, we will absolutely go, or will be better than the others.
China is developing so fast. Does China also have a responsibility to explain to the others what we are really about? I'm not saying we're guilty in any way. I'm just saying, should we explain better to the others, or try to explain once and again, despite of the difficulties of communications?
Explain why we develop
what we
so
are
fast.
About?
Yeah, we can explain, but it's also the other countries' ability to know about us. Like if we want, we can explain, but it's not like we have to do that. But if the other countries people want to know about us, they can absolutely welcome. They come. Yeah.
Jesse?
Yeah, I think it's good for China to explain to others because, you know, we can share the advanced technology, we can share the secret of our success to them by helping them. And also, I think this question probably connecting with the question you just raised about being defensive or turn to being proactive. I think, you know, we're talking about relationships between nations. And then I think it's the same between student groups in college. Because we are the leaders, we were the leaders of the Chinese student organizations. Some of the CSSA or the Chinese community, they're just hanging out with each other within the Chinese community. So others will think, you guys are working hard, you guys have good grades, you guys are taking our jobs, you never talk with us. But some of the student organizations like Cornell's, we are reaching out. We are connecting, we are cooperating with other international groups. We're cooperating with the Global Initiative Office. So they're knowing well what we're doing. And they're knowing well how we achieve the success. So we turn the envy to respect. I think that's the progress of the product of communication. Communicating with other countries is good. That's why I think that. So same thing apply to the relation between nations. We can share the secrets of our success, hard working, good policy making. I think that the communication is very necessary among the countries, among the leaders of the countries.
If I ask every one of you, what do you think are some of the most important points that we really, you personally, and you know, your group, your association, or China even, as big as a country, should communicate better with the others? What would you say? Give me one example and why that is important. Sean?
The one point that I want to stress to my counterpart is we are having good views. So we are not you know, out there to hurt them. We're not out there to exploit them. We're not there to take their resources like, you know, some countries have done previously. And it's important that we do that because I think one reason that they fear is because they don't understand China. They think that China is, you know, a country that is going to all out with brute force to take whatever opportunity from them. And for us, as students, I think we are, because we are young and naturally we are classmates with many of the Westerners, it's important for us to tell this story to them.
How would you tell them? How would you convince them?
There are a few ways that I think we can do that. The first is we keep telling them that. Like, I think it's actually pretty important, they're saying that, a lie repeated 1,000 times becomes a truth. But of course, we're not even repeating a lie, we're repeating a truth. And I think it's one of the, and secondly, we should show them the facts and tell them in the way that the Westerners will understand it.
You would tell?
How China has contributed to the United Nations, for example. How China has, I think China has now become one of the major donors of the UN. at this stage, and basically, as China grows, it's taking more responsibility.
I see. Roger, anything?
The idea should be quite simple, right? It's just we're here to help, and we're more than willing to open up, and then we're not trying to here to conquer or destroy, right? I wanna tie back to a previous point that you mentioned about the wow factor and the fear factor about it, right? I think fear generated from not knowing, from unfamiliarity, right? So you do not know something first, you have the wow factor. So, oh, I didn't know that such thing existed. And then later on, you realize how powerful it is, how out of control it can be. And then it becomes fear, right? So, and then tie back to Jesse's point about communication, is the fact that it's a two-way street. I can't just keep telling you about myself, and that'll get boring, and I'll get single-minded, right? It's the idea about communication, I think, and from day-to-day life, it's about making friends, right? The more that you learn about me, you realize there are a lot of similarities between cultures, you realize that there are a lot of things that we can talk about, then there will be less fear. Knowing that I do not go out and bite, that I'm only here to have fun with people and try to help out each other from day-to-day life, I think that's the most basic we can do, and I think that's actually the only thing we can do right now, being students.
Okay. From your perspective, do you think there's an opportunity to wake up the other person?
They're not actually sleeping, they're pretending to sleep. So it's maybe, like I said, the two-way street, they're not trying to communicate. They try to come up with this imaginary story about fears and not knowing, and then saying that we're not communicating for the fact that they put the fear and a threat into other people's mind. And then it's difficult to wake them up, because they're not actually sleeping, they're just pretending. I mean, it's only one-way street until you keep trying, then you make it two.
So before we wrap up, I do want to ask every one of you, if there's one thing that you think you can do very well to communicate with the rest of the world, and they do need to listen, what would that be? Can I go with you, Kathy, first?
I mean, I would say, hey, just look at me. I'm like a concrete human being, and if you need help, I can definitely help. Just a phone call away. So don't just try to understand me as a person, as like a human being, instead of...
Don't give me all the labels.
Yeah.
Tony?
So instead of communicating and saying a lot of things to them, like I'd rather like purchase an air ticket to them and invite them to China to look and see like how people live here, and then they get a idea of how we're living. Then they start to probably listen.
Yeah, Phoenix?
Like for me, my undergraduate and the master both take in New York City, so I don't think I'm a foreign people in New York, because everyone is foreign people. Like in my class, probably more than half of the classmates are from the other countries, so I never think I'm a foreign people. So what I want to say is just be yourself, love your country, and if after you study abroad, you can back to your country and work for your country.
Okay. Yeah. How can we make sure it's not about us versus them? I think that's very crucial. Roger, any idea?
Like what she said, it's just we come down to the individual, right? When we see each other as human beings, as a friend and as a colleague, then there isn't really him or them. It's just you and me, and it's just us.
Sean?
I think it's important to bring them to China and show them what China is, and show them that we are basically the same as them. We are the same human beings. We eat, we have fun, we play, we sleep. And yeah, I think they'll understand.
Last but not least, Jesse?
I'll introduce them my thoughts, my ideas of how we can cooperate with each other. There's not only competition. Cooperation can bring us with more value. Yeah.
Right. I'm sure bringing them over to Beijing to celebrate the Spring Festival will be a great idea. And it's not about us versus them. It's really all about us together, right? Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing with me all of your thoughts. Kathy, Tony, Felix, and also Roger, Sean, and Jesse. I got all your names right? Yeah. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to all of you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
You're watching World Insight. Still to come on our program. They are the rising stars of Macau, up close and personal with MFM. Right after the break, the real faces of the young people from Macau. Welcome back. You're still watching World Insight. I'm Tian Wei. We just celebrated the 20th anniversary of Macau's return to China, and I also encountered various fascinating faces from the city's youth to talk about their life and dreams for the transition. 20 years is a short time in history, but for the people living it, it is much more than a number. It's a big part of life. That's what Macanese pop group MFM told me when I visited their small studio in the Creative Industry Hub. Welcome, and let's meet MFM from Macau. Hi.
Hi, we are MFM. I'm Hyper.
I'm Josie.
I'm AJ.
Wow, good to see you guys. This is the rising star of Macau. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
7 years already, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, then it's 7 years
Each.
Oh, wow. Does it itch already?
Each
Every
year.
year.
That's cool. Let me hear more about that.
Okay.
So what about that, AJ? How did you guys get together?
We actually, I was friends with Hyper.
Yeah.
And I knew him for a long time. And I was studying in Australia at the time.
Okay.
And then Josie, when I came back to work, Josie was one of my colleagues from the other team.
Oh.
So I didn't know she was singing. But then one day I saw her on the TV. She was receiving an award from a local TV channel.
With heavy makeup.
With heavy
and
makeup, totally different from
nice
what she
dress.
used to look at, like at
You
work.
could recognize. That's a miracle.
I couldn't
He
recognize
had
almost.
doubt. Then he messaged me, is it you on TV?
Because
You
the
look
name is different,
Oh,
and
I
the
see.
name also different.
I see.
She called Josie in work and in the TV 主司.
Yeah.
My
But then
Chinese
how
name.
did you join Jiahao?
He introduced us all together.
All together.
It's because I learned that Josie, like she also liked to sing.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe I could introduce her to Hyper because when I knew that she was singing, she told me about all her bad experiences or the lack of opportunities
Being
to perform in Macau. So like Hyper, as one of our older brothers, I thought
really?
maybe he could bring us
Hyper,
a little
you got
bit
a lot of pressure.
a little bit of chances. So I always wanted to introduce Josie to Hyper.
Yeah.
But
then
he
there was,
rejected me twice.
yes, he did.
Well, it's quite as I can tell. There's a lot of itches going on from the very beginning. But you guys put out a lot of wonderful songs recently.
Thank you.
Perfect, for example, it's
Thank
one
you.
of those very rhythmic songs, and
Thank
you
you.
also got another very slow but very
The lonely
emotional.
song.
Yes, exactly. How did them happen? Who wrote them, and how did you guys work on them?
Well, the two songs that you just mentioned, it was composed by AJ.
Oh,
And then the
congrats.
lyrics was done by Hyper.
What's your job?
Singing. Well, I'm less productive as that. Maybe 1 or 2 songs a year.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, okay, all right.
比寂寞更寂寞，比难过更难过。你不经意伤害我，那一次足够痛一辈子锥心之痛的感受，比脆弱更脆弱，比折磨更折磨。
Oh, okay, all right. You know, our audience really know about this. The reason why it's called MFM, it's about male,
Female, male.
yo.
Yes.
So I think Josie's role is very important to manage these guys to make them work hard.
You are very right.
There we go. There we go, girls.
And another meaning of our name is because the International Airport of Macau is also called MFM, the short form.
Yes.
So we want to bring our music to a broader audience, to bring international.
That's actually a question I really want to ask you, because the market here, the size, to tell the truth, is limited here in Macau.
Very small.
How would you be able to? I mean, you know, pop songs, pop music, you need huge market to prosper. So how did you guys try to manage to go beyond Macau, but also thrive in Macau? Josie?
Well, I think, well, Hyper is a very experienced singer in Macau.
Also you.
And he is very hardworking.
Thank
When before he met us, he worked himself. He's like a one-man band. When he wrote songs, he would like to promote the songs in a better way. Because in Macau, we used to have very limited channel to promote our songs, only radio or maybe put it online. We had limited access to digital media, digital platform, and then he knew nothing about it too when like 10 years ago. But he was very brave to like cold call or email to like those big brands and then try to bring our music to those channels.
I heard about that story.
Yes, because Macau is so small, they also even don't know, oh, you got music? You got Macau singer? Yeah. So I send email to Apple and just like go and back, 200 emails.
Oh my God. As they say, even the drop of water will eventually go through the stone. That's exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Isn't
But
it?
AJ helped a lot.
You know, like Hyper started it, like with the
movement.
the hopes of getting the songs in all these like amazing platforms that we have available for everyone. But then I think the main thing for us is really to establish a memory in all the audiences that listen to our songs. And how we differentiate ourselves, I think, would be we try to bring out our culture. Like people that have come to Macau, they might be able to understand more, like our sort of traditions and music. We have Portuguese culture, we have Chinese culture, we have a mix of both. So that's what we try to do in our music, sometimes to bring our own stories, sometimes to bring our own backgrounds, like music styles and Portuguese style and everything. So
sounds perfect.
Thank you.
That's the song, isn't it? Yes. Perfect. Can you guys sing one or two arias for our audience?
Okay, the chorus maybe. You make me perfect. You make me perfect. I love you more than I can say. 你就是我的全世界。
You guys, besides you're a professional artist, but you are not just singing. You're doing a lot of things. And for the two of you, you're professionals, actually. You work in a
hotel,
huge shopping mall and hotel. So how would you be able to get your time together and travel on tours, work on music? A lot of energy needs to put into there.
Like we work at the hotel like for 8 hours daily, but maybe when we need to meet each other, when we need to have some discussion or go shopping for like the performing costume, we make use of our lunchtime. We work at a shopping mall, so this is very good. We can shop those costumes during lunchtime, or we make use of our lunchtime to have meeting.
Just an example, this afternoon actually, one of the media outlets called us and asked us to take photos of travel spots in Macau. And I was with her, so we just ran out of our hotel and we took a photo and then we sent over.
Our hotel is one of the most
iconic
attractions, so it's very convenient.
But it's not easy because you have to convince your colleagues that you're working hard. While at the same time you have a different life, you know, a very different life compared to theirs.
I think it's very lucky of us to have understanding bosses, understanding colleagues. They're very supportive.
They're watching. I know they're watching.
They must be.
Say better words about them.
They are very good. We've always, we've been very thankful of every opportunity and
because this is, you're representing Macau in a way.
And also I think it's about they work in, the company is very hard and they do all their things very well, so their boss lets them to...
So you first have to accomplish your own tasks.
Yes, yes.
And that's when they can give you the chance to go out and do your...
And you are the pride of them as well.
Thank you.
And you are the pride of Macau because you sing in this very important song, you know, celebrating 20th anniversary of Return of Macau to China. You sing that song, what's that called?
Unified
as one family, right?
Yes.
铃声呀嘎，成长于相同的土壤。铃声呀嘎，心中心也一样。
Something that Macau is very proud of, the 20th anniversary.
Yes.
Exactly.
And you are the stars of Macau.
Thank you.
not many, shall I say, if I could be frank.
Yes.
So how Macau will thrive, culturally speaking, also a very fascinating topic, isn't it, Josie?
Yes, I remember 20 years ago at the big show celebrating the handover to China, I was also one of the performers, but not a singer, because there was a big show with 1,000 local residents. I was one of the dancers.
What did you dance at that time?
I was like a lotus,
Whoa.
the seed of the lotus.
And you are a flower right now.
So I feel very honored that I can participate in both celebrations.
Yeah.
I remember a song that is about the handover to China. It's called the Song of the Seven Sons.
Okay, okay, got it. It's a beautiful song.
Yeah. 你可这么靠，
无视我真心，我离开你太久了，母亲。
Beautiful.
好好听。
真好听。
When I was 10, I knew nothing about the handover. Like, what does that mean? I know nothing. But I already, I was very passionate in singing already. I dreamed about being a singer.
Yeah.
But I knew that it was difficult because Macau was a small market. No previous successful example I had, so it was only a dream. But not until I graduated from high school, I started to see more Macau singers go out of Macau.
Oh.
Yeah, then I start thinking, oh, that can be possible. Let's wait till I graduate from college and see when I come back to Macau what will happen.
But I think Macau government helped a lot because they got some policy to help local artists.
Subsidies.
Yes. Yes.
How does the subsidy work?
Oh, you have to submit proposals,
Yeah.
and then you have to go for several interview rounds. There are different subsidies, like different plans in different departments right now. And it's not only to music, it's also to all artistic fields, like theater, design, movies, everything. So I think what Macau is trying to do is to differentiate itself not as a pure casino city, but also as a multi-purpose or multi-environment city. Food, even right now. So it's a very good idea, I think, and it gave a lot of opportunities for us.
I think it's important in a way because when the artists start up, it's very difficult, right?
Yes.
And any society should respect artists.
Thank you.
It's true. It's
Thank
true.
you.
Very important. Another thing, do you interact with artists and talents from the mainland, from Hong Kong, other places as well?
Yes. Maybe from Hong Kong it's more frequent because it's nearby, and then sometimes we work in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
We perform at a venue with other Hong Kong celebrities. Especially AJ and I, we have a common idol, is Joey Yong from Hong Kong. Recently we had a show at Macau together, and I got to see her in person and got to take a picture with her, and because we had some interaction on social media before. So that was my first time to see her in person, and I was like super touched. Excited.
Starstruck.
Yes.
Before we go, I really want to know how you guys are planning your future as an artist.
We hope to go further. Like the first step, we went to Hong Kong 2-3 years ago, and then this year we step into Taiwan and also the Greater Bay Area, and hopefully next year we can go to more places, region in China.
Also, we want to explore our China market because it's very big, and hopefully MFM will come up top of their mind if someone say Macau singers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about for you, AJ?
I think like there are still very, very vast opportunities around the world, and we're really trying to expand ourselves and to, like, in order to do that, I think we need to keep up with ourselves, like trainings, like dancing, singing.
That's difficult, isn't it? Yes.
That's the most difficult part.
It's a big challenge. I know it's a big challenge for all of you.
Yes.
To begin
We
with.
all had
Problems.
A little bit of transformation we had.
It's amazing, you know, how these guys, these girls are managing themselves. You know, 200 pounds, I heard.
216 pounds, actually.
Oh my God.
Yes, 98 kilos.
Earlier.
Earlier.
And
when
now
I was
become
in,
you.
still heavy,
Not the best shape,
but not the
but
best shape. Right now, it goes like a roller coaster,
Yeah.
but it's okay now.
But you have to challenge yourself
Yes.
all the time. I know the difficulty of that, by the way. And Josie, what about for you? Also, same thing, huh?
Yes, I used to be a fat girl, like 150 pounds. Yeah.
Look at her now.
No, I'm trying to hide my my fat legs.
And Jiahao also.
I was so skinny before, 60 kilograms. and now 77.
Congrats.
Oh,
Wow, you
gained
guys,
some muscle.
you guys look great and you sing beautifully.
Thank you.
And I think you are the sunshine.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that is all the time we have for today. If you'd like to see more, try to find us, World Insight, CGTN, into your search engine. Check out our YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitter accounts. From me, Tian Wei, and everyone from the team, thanks for watching. Bye for now.